Hello, we are live for Thursday's episode of the Xander Gibb Show. We are in pre-production mode. We're just setting up the channels and the live feeds and sharing the show, which you can feel free to do too. It's free to share the show, and you will get brownie points in heaven for sharing the show too. So let's start by having a share party. Not share as in whoa, but share as in share that video. Oh yes, sirree. Don't forget, we will be having a drinking game, as per usual, where you can take a nip, I can't even talk today, of anything you please. When I say the phrase, oh yes, sirree, because I'm told that I say it quite often, which anything is likely rather than possible. Because that's the thing, you don't tend to kind of be that aware of phrases that you use all of the time. So I'm just sharing to YouTube now because I know some of you like to watch on YouTube. Problem is on YouTube, you can't kind of join in the chat. And you can't say, yes, I agree, Xander Gibb. President Donald J. Trump is the best president ever, and we need him for another term. But you can. You can if you are in the chat room, of course. I'm feeling a little hoarse today, because all I seem to do is talk. So we're just getting this link. Copy video URL. I'm just going to do that, and then we'll come and take a quick look at the live feed before we share on Facebook. But as I said, you can feel free to do that. Just while the feed fills, I'm just going to share, as I said, on Facebook. Feel free to press that share button yourself. And while the feed fills, I will chatter incessantly. And as usual, Facebook is making me do individual shares, which takes far longer. But you know what, Facebook? You will not deter me. I will do everything within my power to be sure to be able to re-elect the president and make sure that America does not fall into the hands of the liberals who are so intent on destroying it. Talking of liberals, did anybody see the video today of the Hollywood liberals that were there in this black and white movie apologizing and reading from an auto cue with regards to, you know, how badly our ancestors had behaved and how sorry they were that had happened. But not just that, but also, you know, for being white, which I'm kind of getting a little bit tired of, to tell the truth. Because I don't see any of these people that have issues with regards to slavery doing one sudden thing about human trafficking that's going on today. You know, it's terrible what happened with slavery, and we can't change that. But having said that, we could be changing what's going on today with regards to human trafficking, but they're not interested in doing that because that does not get them, you know, any kudos in any way, shape, or form. So they don't want to do that. So they're more than happy to share these, you know, procrastinating videos in black and white with their goddamn epithets with regards to what happened 300 years ago for things that we can't change, but are not willing to even look at the things that could be changed right now to make a difference. For people that are, in a situation where they could really help with that or be helped in that way. What do you think? Tell us in the live feed. We will be getting started very soon. As I said, I'm just waffling while I share the show to all of the various different groups that we're actually allowed to still share in. And it takes forever. Oh, yes, sirree. There you go. There's your first nip of the night, whatever that might be. And I know it's a school night, so most people are probably not drinking tonight. I know I'm not, because I've got a show to do. Gosh, imagine me doing the show drunk. Welcome to the Xander Gibb show. I've forgotten my name, but I'm here to talk to you about the movement to get Donald Trump reelected. Yeah, no, I don't think it would work somehow. Do you guys? Tell me what you think. Should I do the show drunk one day just to see how really terrible it could be? Where are we? I'm tired of sharing this now. I just wish it would go back to the days where you could go bum 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 and share to all of the groups in one go. But alas, we have to take the time and do it. Someone's clicking that they love the show. I love the show too, which is why I do it. But even more importantly, I love America, and I want to do every single thing that I can to ensure that President Donald J. Trump gets reelected. Because can you imagine how scary it might be if he doesn't? Oh God, it's taking forever to do these tonight. Here we go. Just sharing in Gays for Trump. I mean, can you ever imagine a group called Gays for Biden? You know, that doesn't kind of really have the same ring to it, does it? But there you go. I don't even know where I'm up to. Got to make sure I don't share to the wrong pages, because then when I do, what happens is the group owner gets really pissy and reports me for absolutely nothing. But there you go. We are nearly there, nearly finished sharing, so we can start the show. And I'll tell you who our guests are very soon. Also, we've got some great guests coming up. And here we go. The feed is starting to fill now. Sometimes it takes a while for people to get their snacks and their coffee. Hello to Janie. Hey, I hope you didn't get... I was worried about you last night. I remembered you in my prayers, Janie, because I was hoping that you didn't get, caught up in any tornado or anything like that. So I hope everything is good with you, Janie, and that you are safe and well. And I don't know where the hell I am now with this sharing. Let's share it to one more page, and then we can get started. Hello, Camille. Welcome to the show. If you have just joined us, you are watching the Xander Gibb Show, and we are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were they were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I
Hello and welcome to tonight's episode of the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandermonium Network, live from an undisclosed location. I know it's not my mother's basement, it's your mother's basement, so come on now and bring me some milk and cookies. Oh yes, siree. On tonight's show, we have congressional candidate Cindy Gross, and in part two, comedian Stephen D. Schneider drops by to give his individual comedic perception on what's going on in the United States today. Oh yes, siree. We'll be having our phone in. Tell you more about that when we get there. We've always got time for a couple of calls to find out what's going on with you. Taking a little bit of a break from soapbox right now, but you will still be able to get on your soapbox if you want to, and you can go to xandergibb.com/contact. That's xandergibb.com/contact. If you've got something to say, and we will get you on the show, because this show is about you too. You can, we've already done the phone in bit, so I don't need to do that again. You can follow me on all social media, and you can find out things about me at xandergibb.com. Let's come to the live feed before we take some calls and see who is there. Let's go backwards. I've already said hello to Janie, and I hope you are safe. She said, thank you. It didn't hit my area, but they still have to send out the warnings. Hi to Maria. Welcome. You love that song. That's actually a song that I wrote called This Is Love, and it's available on iTunes if anybody wants to check it out. Hi to Chet. Don't worry about being late, but we will send a tardy slip to your mom. Hello to CV. Welcome to the show. Hello to my Gina, welcome to you, and hello to everybody who's watching, but not in the live chat. Do come and join us, but we will not bite. No, we will not. We've got time for a couple of calls, so call us now. You can call us on 845-363-4747 if you're in the United States, and if you're in the United Kingdom, you can call me on 0208-133-5274. That's 0208-133-5274 if you're in the United Kingdom. But if you're in the United States of America, God's own land, you can call me on 845-363-4747. Gina says our iPhone decided to update. That happens to me all the time, and I hate it. Can anybody tell me why my laptop has updated 4 times in the last 3 days? Am I the only one that thinks that they're spying on us? Janie says she bought the song a long time ago when I showed the album. Brilliant. But any of you out there that haven't bought the album, can feel free to do so when the links are on the Xander Gibb Show page. Oh, yes, siree. So come on, give us a call, 845-363-4747, 845-363-4747. You can tell us about what you think of these Hollyweirds and making this black and white video, reading an article, telling us how bad white people are and how we should get prostate before the black community and tell them how sorry we are for racism. We have a call. Let's pray that it goes through. No, didn't work. Whoever it was, please call back. Here we go. Good evening. You're live on the Xander Gibb Show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Xander, this is Joe Biden's team. We're wondering if you're going to be able to donate this year for the election.
Yeah.
Creepy Joe.
Yeah, for sure. I vomited a lot today, and it's in a bucket in the backyard. And who wants to come collect that? Because that's the only thing I have for Joe Biden, a lot of bile. Good evening, Mr. Chet Martin. How is the world with you, sir?
All right. Something that was pretty disturbing happened.
We lost you there. Are you still there? We seem to have lost Chet. I don't know what happened there. Don't know if it's I don't know if it's phones in the Long Island area that's the problem, or just that Skype is, the S in Skype stands for. I can't even say it online. I'm just going to restart the Skype just in case it is that. the wonders of modern technology. Hopefully it will start again soon. Here we go. The Skype has restarted. I do apologize, Chet, if you would like to call back again. Hello to Cindy, who is my first guest on the show tonight. Jamie says, ha ha. I'm not sure what she's saying, ha ha at. Feel free to call back. I wonder if it's that Chet didn't pay his bill and they've cut him off because the Democrats want to silence him. Hi, Chet. I don't know what happened there. We're just wondering if the Democrats are trying to silence you again.
I don't know. I'm on the landline, so I don't know what happened there. But I don't know where I left you off. But somebody decided to turn the American flag upside down at the post office in Hampton. So that's been the discussion out here. Things are just getting really bad, right?
Yeah. And I'm tired of the excuses for these people and their bad behavior. You know, we're all upset, we're all pissed off. But is the answer to be, disrespecting our flag and smashing shop windows? You know, I saw video footage of NYC today, like as in Manhattan, and everywhere is boarded up, looks like a ghetto. So I think finally the Democrats have got what they want.
Yeah, I agree. It looks terrible in New York if you take a look, and I know even some of our customers. One of them is a good conservative, was talking to me the other day, and he said Manhattan is upside down. It's just a mess right now, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Because we already had our issues in New York, and to pile them on like this, it becomes even worse. And seeing what's going on in Seattle, you know what, Xander? Eventually, we're going to have to get really tough with them.
We are.
I mean, eventually, President Trump is going to have to bring the full force of the military. And you can't have Antifa taking over several blocks in America.
No.
It's just not supposed to happen.
No, absolutely not. And the reason that the president is going to end up having to get really tough is because these state governors from blue states are really not interested, because they want to let people get their anger out. Do we wait till we're a pile of bricks and rubble before we start to get tough, or do we actually say no? Now enough is enough. You've damaged too much property. Because my theory is, Chet, any one of those people that are on state benefits and gets found out to be looting, they should take that money for the damage they've caused from their state benefits before they even get a cent of it, and maybe that will teach them something about the value of property.
I don't know. They're destroying statues. Columbus. I am glad that Cuomo came out and said we're not touching the statue in New York, but he'll turn around on that. They'll start defacing it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was even a little messaging in there. But Xander, we all know that this is not where they're going to stop. And when people throw it in your face and say, "How dare you support racism? How dare you support the Confederacy?" I don't. I never have.
No.
But the issue is that there are some Americans that have a bloodline that goes back to that, and that should not be taken away from them.
No.
And many of them, if you speak to them, they say, "I don't support it. It's not something I agree with, but we shouldn't just be ripping everything down." And Xander, they're going to come for presidents' monuments next. What will the ultimate goal be but to take our history away from them?
Yeah, exactly. And to me, that how can we kind of ever get to a point where we don't repeat history if we're not reminded of it? But I just want to change tack for a second, because I wonder if you saw that video today of those Hollywood actors and actresses that were quite clearly reading from teleprompters. It was quite eerie, and they were apologizing for being white and apologizing for slavery and saying, "How will we ever be able to make it up to you?" And once again, I want to clarify that I think slavery was an absolutely terrible thing, but how long should we apologize for it? I'm going to ask our first guest tonight on the show about this, because the Jews never got reparations for the 6 million plus Jews that were killed. So why should we be talking about reparations for black people that weren't alive when this atrocity happened?
We shouldn't. I mean, I'm Irish. We're not getting reparations for the slavery that happened in America to all of us good mixed. Instead, because of the tone of our skin, a few shades off of theirs, we're bad.
Yeah.
So we're part of the problem. We own slaves even though we never did. It's just madness, man. And I'm telling you, those weak Hollywood liberals and the liberals that are taking a knee and begging for forgiveness, Xander, I would die on my feet. You'll never ever get me to kneel down and kiss the ring or kiss the rear end of Sean King and Black Lives Matter.
No.
Not happening.
No, absolutely. There's only I can't bow because I'm in a wheelchair, but I wouldn't bow anyway to anybody but God and Jesus, and that's where I kind of draw the line. But I think the concern is that when I'm heartened by the fact that there are so many black people taking to social media saying, what the hell? This is just rubbish, and I don't ascribe to this. I don't support this. And it heartens me somewhat that the black people are speaking out against the ridiculousness of this situation.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The mainstream media won't show it because it doesn't fit the narrative. Me, CV, and Brian were texting back and forth today, and it came up on the discussion of the masses kind of going along with the left. I don't think that's happening. What I think is, and I think most of us agree, that people on the left are just, they're pushing the message out there so much, and they have this big, powerful entity behind them, which is the mainstream media, that it does start to look like you're in the minority, but we're not in the minority, and we need to start acting like that.
Absolutely. And you know who really summed it up for me? I watched a very emotional video. I'm terrible for names, as you know. David, he's a black guy and he's a conservative commentator. David, I can't remember his last name.
I know who you're talking about. Okay, I know who you're talking about. Though.
His video, David Harris, his video today really summed it up for me, and he said, "I want to apologize to all the white people who are being made to feel bad for things that they've never done or never kind of taken part in." And I'm getting emotional thinking about it, but he was actually in tears kind of saying all this. And I just think it takes for people to be stepping out, kind of a bit like with Muslims when there's been a terrorist act for Muslims to say this was not in my name, I don't agree with this. It's imperative right now that people are stepping out and saying they don't agree with these things because they don't speak for me. When the gay community come out with ridiculous stuff and looking for equity rather than equality, as a gay person, I'm the first one to speak out against it because that's not what I'm about. That's not what I'm looking to effect as change, as a change maker. So surely these people need to be speaking out too.
Yeah, I think they do, and I think people are. I just don't think it gets as much attention, even with social media, with shadow banning and what Jack Dorsey has done to good patriots like yourself and good patriots like CV or me. They make sure that nobody hears the message, but it is going to come back around. There is going to be a pushback. Yeah. And when there's a pushback, they're going to need to watch their asses at that point, Xander.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I know I'm on the right side, and I'm on the right side of history.
For sure.
And by the way, prior to Barack Hussein Obama, none of this kind of stuff was happening.
No.
None of it.
No, absolutely. And do you know I read today, and this really bothered me, but the conservative that's running against Ilhan Omar has been completely deplatformed on Twitter, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. Yeah. Again, I would be surprised if I could come up with the person's name, but I shared it on social media because I think it's absolutely disgusting.
Before you go and get your guess, and that is horrible, but I don't like Jeff Sessions. Many of us don't. But he was getting into it with Ilhan Omar, and at the end he said, "Hey, oh, by the way, how's your brother doing?" And I thought that was great because, sometimes you just smack him in the mouth.
Yeah. Well, she divorced her husband and married her campaign manager, and I wonder if, allegedly, maybe she used some of those campaign funds to pay for the wedding. See, apparently my lawyer says if I say allegedly, I can't get sued. So allegedly,
I need to start doing that more often then, I guess.
Possibly. But you have to be a little bit more careful than myself because you're on kind of the stations that we're on are not kind of like as terrestrial as yours. So I'm sure you have a long list of things you can't say, things you can't do, and topics that you may not cover. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but there's censorship out there for so many people.
Well, we have gotten pushback for some things. We did Pizzagate. We've done a few other really, really out there topics, especially when you're on a CBS affiliate. But we haven't changed anything.
Right.
The show is still the show that it was 4 years ago, aside from CV being with us now. We're going on our 5th year now, So the show is still Freedom on Deck. It's the same Freedom on Deck that it always has been, except I think now it's even more pro-Trump.
Yeah.
And even more of a real piece of Americana. And that's what it's going to take to get President Trump reelected. It's going to be voices like ours and yours.
Yeah.
Everybody else has to come together and stop these tyrants, period.
For sure, unapologetically so. I just have to go backwards a little bit. Are you talking about the same C.V. Burton that's not heard of Law and Order Special Victims Unit?
I don't think he could hear you. Yeah.
No, but
Law
just
and Order.
teasing.
I like early Law and Order.
Yeah.
I like the original.
Yeah, I do, and Criminal Intent too. It's funny how many people were coming back at the president when he was saying Law and Order, because obviously those of us in the know that he was talking about kind of the reinstitution of Law and Order, because obviously everything's gone to a pile of poop, because the Democrats are ignoring the fact that Antifa are terrorizing all of the states. We do have to leave it there. I know you're on with us tomorrow night, so I do look forward to speaking to you then, and we can find out more about who's on your show. Just quickly tell us when and where your show is before you go.
Well, you've gotten the station down pat, so it's 94.9 News Now and Stimulating Talk. Go to freedomondeck.com. It's the best place to get some of your news as well, but you go there and it'll tell you the links, and there's a nice little shiny button. You just click listen, and it plays the station, and we're on Sundays from 3 to 5. So go to freedomondeck.com, 3 o'clock Eastern time, and you can listen to the show that way. Really easy. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Chet Martin, who will be my guest tomorrow on tomorrow's show. Thanks a lot, brother. I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks a lot. Take care. That was Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck. Make sure you go and check him out on the Freedom on Deck website. I'm going to start introducing my first guest now, who is a radio presenter, columnist, Jewish activist, and congressional candidate, referring to herself as an outspoken supporter of Donald Trump. I'm sure she'll be in very good company here. And I am, of course, speaking of Cindy Gross, who's going to be calling us any second from the good old United States of America. Oh, yes, sirree. See, I said it again. Hello to Lisa. Welcome to the show. Chet says he's back. Hello to Camille. Hi to Ash. Let's see. I'm really trying to work without my glasses, because apparently there's this theory that if you start using your glasses for the computer, what you will get is that your eyes will improve. So I'm kind of squinting a bit, if anyone is wondering. So please join me in welcoming back to the show, the one, the only, the fabulous Cindy Gross. Welcome back to the show. How is the world with you?
Well, I was listening to you, and there is so much to be said for what you were discussing. First of all, I do want to make a clarification. There are Holocaust survivors that had to prove that they were actually survivors in the camps that do get reparations, and unfortunately many of them have passed away.
Right.
But not every Jewish person gets money. You had to have a direct tie to it.
Right.
But I'll give you another comparison. If you want to talk about every black getting reparations, and I don't really think we as white people should discuss it, because the black conservatives and the black Republicans are doing such a great job of defending President Trump and supporting police and understanding the idea of law enforcement and rule of the land.
Right.
But since you did bring up the fact that Jews were slaves in Egypt thousands of years ago.
Yes.
So then I should be entitled to reparations from Egypt. We all watched the Ten Commandments, so we know the story of Passover.
Absolutely.
So
I agree with you.
I obviously believe that when everything comes into play and we have a full, unbiased, and fair investigation, the Trump administration, the Department of Justice, the FBI, all working together with Minnesota police, we're going to find out that it was just a coincidence, I believe, that the cop was wearing a police uniform at the time because they had a relationship.
Yeah.
They both knew each other for many years.
Absolutely.
And I do believe, I listened to Janine Pirro, and I couldn't believe it. You know, she said it the best. After 2 minutes like that, and being told by witnesses and by Floyd himself he couldn't breathe, and everybody was watching him, it was premeditated. But we need police, we need law enforcement, we need order, especially in minority communities.
For sure. For sure. Now, I want to go backwards a little bit because, you know, you've been on the show before. I know that you're a radio talk show host and you're out there, you know, fighting for conservative America. But you've kind of deviated a little in the fact that you're kind of running for Congress now. And I know from the people, my friends who are representatives and members of Congress, it is such a thankless task. So what made you get to this decision where you were going to run for Congress?
My district is currently our Congresswoman, Kathleen Rice, is a 3-term Congresswoman who has really done nothing for my district. She is part of the group that claims they are moderate Democrats. Moderate Democrats no longer exist. She has voted over 70% against Trump, and rather than working for her constituents and their desires, she has actually spent the last 2 years publicly promoting impeaching Trump. Now, she is a former district attorney, and she should be living by the rules of the land of innocent before guilt, and she prefers to believe in guilt by accusation.
Wow.
People in my area are very pro-Trump. We have a lot of issues we see on the other end of the island, all the things that Lee Zeldin has done. And as you know, my work, and you know the people I work with and who I know in D.C., I could do this. My opponent in the primary works for the local GOP, the town of Hempstead, and they have not been able to produce any viable candidates. He has absolutely no political experience and cannot discuss issues. During coronavirus, I have been in contact regularly, invited on conference calls, listening into discussions, sharing the news of my community that I get. I actually was the chair of the first rally of Reopen America through Women for Trump 2016 and
Right.
Women for America First.
And isn't Reopen America one of the points on your platform with regards to with you running for Congress?
Yes. Well, I really also want to work on something that's not discussed enough now is protecting our amendment rights. Do you know that gun sales have gone up 30% since what's been going on?
I'm not surprised.
I know people are afraid. The thoughts of what's going on. Classic Democrats want law enforcement and security. They don't want what's going on.
Right.
And everything from the right to bear arms, freedom of speech, every amendment is at risk. So that's another reason why. Another thing, I wrote an article. Why are we attacking the New York Police Department and not the U of T? Teachers' unions have produced failing grades, have produced the worst ability to adjust to a pandemic, and yet, a month ago, we were praising police and blaming teachers.
Right.
But teachers support the progressive socialist, democratic elected officials on the local, state, and federal levels. Well, that has to change because, especially in minority communities, they want charter schools, they want private schools, and now a lot of people want homeschooling. They want to protect their children in a friendly learning environment.
Right, absolutely.
So I decided to run so I would be a pro-Trump voice and flip one of these seats that they're not expecting, because my area has a strong Republican base, but we've had very weak candidates in the past.
What area?
Changed that because of my national platform.
Right. What area are you running for? I know you're in New York, but I used to have this ideology.
Long Island in
Right.
New York 4.
Right.
It's
Wonderful.
the only seat that's Long Island, Nassau County, not split up with Queens, not split up with Suffolk. And my area is, if you look at my area, the representation of my area is like a mini United States. We have people here from all ages, religious backgrounds, from all countries, all economic backgrounds. So we really are a mosaic of America right here in District 4. And we really feel that we are not getting any of the economic benefits that the rest of the country has received pre-coronavirus. I know today was not a great day, but we will get there soon enough. And
Absolutely.
we will get there even better than before.
So another one of the points on your platform is Judeo-Christian values. Tell us a little bit more about that, and how you'll be using that to further things in your district.
Well, first of all, in education, we are learning that, in fact, the Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, found out during coronavirus how many classrooms are misrepresenting facts using opinions and are teaching history with a bias and prejudice that aren't even true. And one of the slants is against Judeo-Christian values.
Right.
So in the education realm, I want to work on classroom oversight. Another way we can work on Judeo-Christian values is on protecting our places of worship and honoring prayer, like we've seen so much in the administration,
Right.
how he has honored all religions.
For sure.
And how the administration has embraced all religions
Right.
and accommodated religions.
But that's not happening on a local level, is it? Because as far as I'm aware, that when this pandemic started, all houses of worship were supposed to be closed, but the mosques were allowed to stay open. And I know that Bill de Blasio fed with taxpayers' money, hundreds of Muslims, but failed to feed the Jews or the Christians. So there's not an equal sense of protection in New York for Jews and Christians as there is for Muslims.
Correct. Because even though I did hear stories about the mosque being open with large crowds, but yet he had no problem tweeting anti-Semitic remarks attacking Jews.
Right.
So Bill de Blasio has a big problem with working with the Jewish community.
Right.
But next Tuesday, June 23rd, is a New York primary. I am urging everybody who is a registered Republican to get out and vote in person. We know what goes on with voter fraud. We know what goes on with established Democrats, and they're fighting for their seats in their primaries, and established Republicans. We have a very unique opportunity in Long Island between Lee Zeldin, well, he's not in a primary, but the Peter King seat is in a primary, and the person who is not endorsed is probably going to win that primary, and I am not endorsed in my primary, and I am projected to win because people are tired of the establishment.
Right.
Donald Trump was not the establishment person. Jeb Bush was. If Jeb Bush would have been the nominee, we would have had Hillary Clinton now. And people are tired of donating to GOP and conservative parties that don't listen to them. And
Absolutely.
you are going to see a very big revolution come next week, that people are going out in force to support the president. My opponent in my primary calls himself a Romney Republican. There is not one person I know that wants a Romney Republican. Even if they don't like everything that Donald Trump says, they know he is the nominee, and they're going to support him.
Right. I wouldn't think that would do anyone any good calling themselves a Romney Republican, because everyone knows that Romney is nothing but a rhino. So why would you want to model yourself after him? But I really want to ask you this, Cindy. I am seeing more and more Democrats that are pissed with the way that the Democrat Party is treating them. That was Freudian, I said Democrat. A Democrat Party is treating them, and seem to be kind of moving over, kind of like swing voters. How many of them, are you seeing a lot of them in your area too?
Well, I can tell you that I've received donations from people who call themselves Democrats for Trump. I think right now, whatever polling you see, don't believe. I remember the night that of the election in 2016, I was invited to the city, and if you recall, the Democratic Party for Hillary Clinton was a block away from the party from Trump. And I remember saying to my husband, we're not going to the city because who knows what's going to be there.
Wow.
And we ended up at the party by Lee Zeldin and the Suffolk County people. And I'll never forget that the leader at the time of the Suffolk County Republicans got up and he said, going to the city, we're taking a plane, we're about to see the next president of the United States. And while he was saying that, they were still having all the TVs on, and they still weren't predicting all the winning states that ended up winning the Electoral College. And I remember coming home that night about 4 o'clock. People do not want to become Venezuela.
No.
What's
Of course
happening
not.
now is going to have a big impact. And like I'm saying, and I'm on the National Diversity Coalition for Trump, I've been working for years with the Black community, with the Hispanic community, with the Asian community, with the millennials. So I want to unify people. I've already gone to the minority communities within my district and spoke with the leadership who told me that they are disgusted that they are being taken for granted in the voting.
Right.
And you're going to see, if this is going to continue like this, more and more people are going to be leaving the party without talking about it.
Good.
When you vote for President Trump, you don't vote for his tweets. You vote for his actions.
Of course, I'm not basing anything I say on polls, because the polls that are out are the same ones that said that Hillary Clinton was going to win by a landslide victory. Polls are. I always say that polls are only as useful as the person paying for them. Do you know what I mean?
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct. And you know what we're learning? Campaigning during coronavirus. We're all learning how we have to be creative with such limited access to people, limited access to going out, limited access to public fundraisers. And you're going to see changes in the way people are going to be going out and campaigning in the future, because creativity has taught us that you don't have to do what worked in the past.
Absolutely. So tell us how people can help you with your campaign. Now, we've put all of your contact information on the Xander Gibb, can't even say my own name, Xander Gibb show page for this week. But how else can people help you to get elected?
First of all, I am one of 19 seats that can flip. And I tell people to do your research and figure out the seats we can flip, because we really need 25 seats. We can't rely on 19. So I am telling you, this is a winnable seat, because in a bad year with no candidate from the Republican side, we get almost 40% Republican vote out. You must vote in the primary. If I don't win the primary because it's such a weak candidate, because he's anti-Trump, Kathleen Rice will win again. And Kathleen Rice will have to go more progressive and more in a Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders agenda of more hate and more tensions and more conflict. So, and more wasting of money in failing schools and in going back to restrictions in business. So I am telling you now, vote for the people that stand with the president and get out there and vote in a primary in person in New York on June 23rd.
For sure.
Everybody across the country, donate to my campaign, even if it's $10. Every dollar counts, and it's your voice, because you know how I feel. You can go on my website. I've been very visible for 4 years. So go on my website. You can also help if you want, volunteer, making phone calls, sharing our posts on all the social media, and you can reach out to us at www.cindygross.com. GROSZ.
Absolutely. And there's also the link on the Xander Gibb show page for Cindy Gross for Congress. Make sure you go and follow her and support her, whether you live in her district or not. We all have to be supporting one another. Cindy, I hope you'll come join us again very soon, and we wish you every luck in the primaries, and I look forward to hearing that you've won not only by marginal but by a landslide. But for now, thank you so much for joining us, congressional candidate Cindy Gross. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thanks a lot. Take care. That was Cindy Gross. Make sure you go check her out on Facebook. Wow, the feed just went crazy. Everybody enjoyed Cindy's interview. Go and check her out. Go and support her. And like I said, even if you don't live in her district, you can even support her. If you can't afford to support her financially, you can click the support button and support her tweets and her posts and reshare them, etc., etc. Gina says, can't the FBI bar military, sorry, the page just moved while I was reading it, go into Seattle even if given orders from someone in charge, president, and get them out? I don't get it. None of us get it. I think a part of the problem is, that he's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't. If he doesn't do enough, they say that he's not strong, and if he does too much, they say he's too strong. So you can't win whichever way you go. Yes, this show endorses Cindy too. Agreed, Chet. And Chet is a Long Island person, so maybe he can have a chat with him, Cindy, and he has a fabulous show too on the radio. So I'm going to start introducing my next guest, who is a regular on the show. He's comedian Stephen D. Schneider, who joins us from the good old United States of America any minute now. Wouldn't you like it if that just happened once? You know, every time we go any minute now, it doesn't happen. But he's going to call us any moment now. Gina said, President Trump said he was not going to shut the country down again. I don't think he is shutting the country down again. I think it's Antifa that's shutting the country down again, and the Democrats in the blue states that are allowing that to happen. Because let's face it, none of this is about, the corona is not about, the disease and or anything else. And all of this rioting and looting is not about anything more than kind of saying, look, Donald Trump can't even control the country. It's all about attacking Trump. So this should be my next guest, calling us live from the United States, the one, the only, the fabulous Mr. Stephen D. Schneider. How is the world with you, Stephen?
Oh, fantastic. Just smoked a nice big bowl of crack before giving you a call, Xander. Just doing great. Huffing a little spray paint, feeling good.
Yeah, the best thing is lighter fuel, so I'm told, because there's less chemicals in it. It's just like pure gas. But I'm joking. Don't try this at home. Stephen is obviously a comedian, and I'm supposed to be a comedian too, and this is how we kind of communicate. So I never remember where you live, Stephen, but have you been affected by all of this crazy violence and looting in the name of white privilege being destroyed in America?
Yeah, I live in one of the largest cities in America. It's in the top 5, and I can tell you that things are getting real bad, but they're not going to be coming to suburbia because we are loaded and armed to the teeth here, and we do not fuck around. So, yeah, they're not coming down this road.
No, and I'm glad. And I'm often seeing people. I live in the UK right now, and we're not allowed to own guns, not legally anyway. I don't know if that's going to change in the future, the way things are going. But all of my American friends are saying, they're locked and loaded, and they have so much ammunition that that they're not going to run out. So I kind of think that's good, because if the police are not being allowed to protect us right now, then we have to protect ourselves, don't we?
Well, yeah, so they always said, only cops should be allowed to have guns. And now they're saying, well, we should ban cops. So what do they want? They basically want to be in charge of the entire, basically police force. This is a French Revolution style takeover. That's what it is.
It sure is.
Revolution 2.0.
I'm sure it sure is. And everybody from the world to his wife and even, Hollywood celebrities are getting involved, which is a great segue to our first story, because hip-hop idiot Ice Cube, or should that be Ice Boop, has defended himself for sharing multiple anti-Semitic tweets and conspiracy theories this week, saying he is not anti-anybody, but that he's been telling his truth. The rapper and actor, maybe that should be crapper and crapper, has been giving his response on Twitter, which came late yesterday. He also retweeted Temple professor Mark Lamont Hill, who had called out the rapper for posting several anti-Semitic images. Now, Ice Cube said, "What if I was just pro-black? This is the truth, brother. I don't lie on anyone. I didn't say I was anti-anybody. Don't believe the hype. I've been telling my truth. What if I was just pro-black? This is the truth, brother." So aren't we tired of these so-called celebrities who happen to be black, like him and the guy from Star Wars whose name escapes me, just cashing in on this liberalized bullshit?
Well, if anybody needs to be excoriated and have their ass kicked verbally, it's celebrities. Okay, so let's get this straight. All of these celebrities, black, white, it doesn't matter their race, they all live in rich, gated, armed fortress communities behind giant walls. Okay? Now, they don't live in Compton or Watts.
No.
They don't live in the ghetto. They don't send their children to those schools. All celebrities are hacks, hypocrites, and fucking frauds. Especially these white liberals. The white liberal, the modern day white liberal, is the scum of the earth. The white modern day leftist is the scum of the earth. They think they can control all of the races. So all of these celebrities need to sit down, shut the fuck up, like Oprah. Oprah's worth how many $1 billion?
Yeah.
And now she's saying there's systematic racism. Fuck you, Oprah, and your big fat ass. Do you know how many white women worship you and make you the multi-millionaire you are?
Yeah.
All these celebrities need to sit down and shut the fuck up.
Well, your F tax is going up, and usually I would apologize for someone swearing. But, why should I apologize for someone swearing on my show when they're clearly angry? When no one's apologizing for them ripping down our stores and our shops and our homes and hitting our place because they're angry. So what is the difference? Now, I want to ask you this, Stephen. Where is your white privilege? Where is it? Where are you hiding it?
For some reason, Xander, I owe a lot of money in student loans. I have a mortgage. I have payments on cars. I have never received my white privilege check.
No.
Never have I received a white privilege check. Everything I've earned, I've had to bust my ass and do it myself.
Yep.
Nobody's ever given me a damn thing.
Me too.
And, I must have missed my
Yeah, I think I must have missed mine too. I actually got an email from a message through the website, because people can contact me through the website, saying, who the F did I think I was? And I was only doing the show. I'm being up Trump's ass because I was getting paid a lot of money for it. Where are the checks? That's what I want to know. Where are the checks that I'm getting paid for doing this show? I do this show because I love America and I want to get Donald Trump reelected. That's the only reason that I do it. And to be honest, if there is some big checks coming my way, I just hope they spell my freaking name right. So where do you see this going with these celebrities? Because there was a video released today, I don't know if you saw it, and they were all on this black and white video, clearly reading from an article, apologizing for being white and apologizing for slavery, et cetera, et cetera. And frankly, I did puke watching it. And so what do you make of this? Did you see it? And are we surprised that this posturing is still going on?
Well, I watched it. I cried and I masturbated at the same time while I watched that video. That's kind of I always use my tears as lubricant during times like this.
Okay, moving
normally
swiftly.
This is okay. So here's the deal: we have a bunch of rich, guilty, trendy, bi-coastal, elite, wealthy, very wealthy white liberals who are the biggest sanctimonious, virtue signaling, cuck, hack, hypocrite, and frauds that are out there. Sitting there saying, I take responsibility. Well, wait a minute. Why do you take your next acting role when you could go ahead and say, no, give this acting role you were going to give to me to a minority?
For sure.
Won't do that. They won't do that, Xander,
No.
because they're fucking pieces of shit and they're frauds.
Because it's all posturing bullshit. Absolutely. Have you been seeing all of this where they're taking down, like they've not taken down white chicks, but they've taken down any TV show that ever involves a white person playing a black person. They've got Gone with the Wind gone. That's gone now. That's Gone with the Wind because it's apparently too racist. So we have to dismantle a whole history to make the black community feel comfortable. I mean, slavery, was a terrible thing. But can we change it by dismantling our history? I don't think so.
No, and I think it's time we call these celebrities out for the pieces of shit that they are. And I've been doing it, and I haven't been blacklisted in Hollywood yet, but also nobody has had a real defense. When I say, okay, these celebrities, do you send your children to inner city schools? Answer no. Do you live around minorities? For the most part, the answer is no.
No.
Do you live behind armed fortress gated walls with armed security guards? The answer is yes. These people, Xander, are literally the scumbags of the earth.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, until Americans start boycotting them and voting with their dollars, they're going to keep feeling empowered. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of all of these athletes. These athletes are just as bad too.
Yeah.
LeBron James lives in Brentwood. LeBron James is a multi-millionaire, and he bitches and moans.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
Colin Kaepernick.
Hey, LeBron, go to Appalachia. Go to Appalachia, LeBron, and see what you find there. You find a bunch of poor white people.
Yeah. What did Colin Kaepernick ever do for the black community until his ball games got so crap that nobody wanted to hire him? Oh, it's because I'm black. No, it's because you're crap at playing ball now, dude. And you're getting older and you're not as fit as you used to be. So where's the racism in telling someone that they're not good at their job?
Yeah, the whole system, Xander, in a way, I kind of like that. I like kind of how the whole world is crumbling down, and I kind of like how people are finally getting kicked in the balls.
Right.
And this is happening both financially and because people aren't paying attention. So I kind of like it when there's chaos, and I kind of want more of it because I think that's the only way to shake somebody up. That's the only way to shake some sense into people is when the shit hits the fan. And I like it. I like the shit hitting the fan. It makes life more interesting and more enjoyable. I like seeing things burn down. I like seeing all this stuff. It just makes my life a lot easier.
Well, I think there's so much comedy fodder in this the other day. I actually put something on Twitter the other day about coming soon, George Floyd, the musical, with the black guy from Star Wars playing George, and what's her name? Taylor Swift playing the pregnant woman who had the gun held on her by George Floyd, and Joe Biden playing the cop. And I thought that was absolutely hilarious, but apparently too soon.
Oh, that's hate speech, Xander. That you're a racist, homophobe, xenophobe,
Yeah.
Islamophobe, white nationalist, Nazi
Yeah.
rebel for saying something
Yeah.
like that.
No, you can't call me a homophobe though, because I'm openly gay. But let me tell you, there's my dominance coming out. Where does the line between funny as a comedian and homophobia, racism, etc., kind of start? Because I'm not sure anymore. The lines have just been so blurred. It's hard to tell.
Well, if you're a woke comedian and you're part of the Democrat plantation machine, you have your script of what you need to say, what is funny and what is not funny. Anything about Donald
Right.
Trump, orange man bad, orange man bad, orange man bad, that's funny.
Yeah.
So unless you're a woke comedian, anything goes. You can wear blackface. You can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want.
Right.
However, if you're not a woke comedian and you like to think for yourselves and you're not into, all of this mindless, sanctimonious, following the leader worship, then, you will be blackballed. You
Right.
will be blacklisted. So, yeah, the line is thin. So if you're a woke comedian, anything you say goes. If you're non-woke, you will be crucified.
Well, this is why I work independently, because at least then I can say, I don't even have advertisers, which means I can say what the hell I please. Because otherwise you fall into this corporate, dick-sucking mode where, you just kind of say what people want you to say. And the whole ethos of what I do is having an authentic response to the world around me. And how can I do that with one arm up my back being told what to say? I'm not a puppet,
Yeah, they want to monitor you. They want to monitor everything you do. If you're in Los Angeles and you're doing open mic nights and you have a joke that goes off the reservation, even if it's not that bad, you will be crucified.
Yeah.
You'll probably be afraid to laugh. And that's just how they are. This is the political correctness nanny tyranny.
Yeah, when I first started doing the comedy circuit back in the day in the UK, I used to do the gay clubs, and I made a gay joke about HIV, and they never booked me again at that club. But I thought it was quite funny, And if we can't laugh at ourselves, I mean, as a gay fat guy, surely I can do the gay fat guy jokes, but obviously not because they're offensive. But to me, comedy is all about kind of offending everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And who understood that the best was George Carlin, Richard Pryor, and Eddie Murphy. And you could even throw in there Sam Kinison and Andrew Dice Clay.
Right.
Rodney Dangerfield. All these guys, they didn't give a fuck. It was just all about what's funny. And, it's great because all of these woke comedians, I think they've killed comedy. I really do.
I do.
Jerry Seinfeld's still out there. I respect his humor. Joe Rogan out there, I respect his humor. Bill Burr is amazing. But everybody else, for the most part, they have this woke, politically correct comedy. And it's really not even politically correct because they will call Sarah Palin the most horrible names in the book.
Yeah.
And they will call certain black people Uncle Toms.
Yeah.
And they'll get away with it.
Yeah.
So they have really ruined comedy, Xander. Like anything the left touches, just remember this. All you guys listen. Anything the left touches turns to complete and total shit.
Right.
They're ruining Gone with the Wind. They're ruining all fun. They're ruining all symbols and flags. They ruined everything, and they're ruined sports, and now they're ruining comedy.
I'm not even allowed to tell gay jokes anymore, Stephen. Can you believe that? A gay comedian that can't tell gay jokes, even about my own experiences. I used to get a lot of work from the BBC. They used to get me on to give commentary on, gay issues, but they only want me to comment on things that I will be parroted, that I will say what they want me to say. Oh, and don't be humorous about it because, it's not funny. So even if the pay is good, I don't want to sell my soul for the sake of a paycheck,
Yeah, and you can't tell gay jokes joke, Xander, because you're a white devil cracker, and
Yeah.
you white devil crackers, you do not speak unless spoken to. Doesn't matter if you're gay, doesn't matter if you're Muslim, doesn't matter. If you're on this side of the political ideology, they want to box you in, and they want to keep you under control and keep you under wraps.
Yeah, and that's kind of the sadness of it, really, because I won't be hemmed in that way, which is why, for the corporate stuff, I suppose you've got to kind of work within a kind of guideline, but for TV as well too, to some extent, but surely not, not when you're trying to kind of do your best work. I can't be limited. I can't be stunted, because that's not creativity, is it?
No. I once had a joke, Xander, that got crickets, okay? And everyone said that it was age insensitive. Here was the joke. I once said, I never forget this, I said, old people aren't sad at funerals because somebody died. Old people are sad at funerals because they know they're next. And I said that, and it was almost like, see, it's funny, right? It's funny.
Yeah.
And no one laughs. My God, you can't make fun of old people anymore.
No.
This country is the world is kind of fucked right now, and
Yeah.
you got to fight back against political correctness.
I got into trouble once for telling. I always get invited to weddings, and I always get asked to speak because obviously I'm a good public speaker. And I said, this was before I had my car accident, and I said, the reason that as a gay man I get invited to so many weddings is because then the fat chicks always have someone to dance with, which I thought that was hilarious. However, it's insensitive apparently to fat chicks.
Well, speaking of fat jokes, I had another one about the fat Wilson Phillips sister. Okay, remember Wilson Phillips?
Yeah.
Girl band in
Yeah.
the 90s? Okay, so there was two hot ones and there was a fat one. And so essentially, everybody always wanted to bang the two skinny hot ones, okay? But when it came down to the fatty wildebeest redheaded Wilson sister, we're like, hey, fatty, get to the back of the line, the buffet line. And then you say that, and now you're a sizist if you make fun of their people.
Yeah.
That's where we've gone, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I've, in the past year, I've lost 150 pounds, but, I still have a long way to go. But, does that mean I'm not allowed to tell fat jokes once I've lost my weight? Because I think fat jokes are funny, So now, as comedians, what we're going to have to do is be politically correct or not get the work. And I would frankly rather not get the work than have to censor myself, because obviously live work is much different. You can get away with much more. But why should we be censored in a way to the point where our act's not funny? It means we have to work far harder to be creative, because censoring yourself does not allow the humor to come naturally, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And again, there's too many of these comedians who, there's almost like this rule, right? Anybody can make fun of white people. Anybody can make fun of white people. Anybody can make fun of conservatives. Anybody can make fun of Christians. Anybody can make fun of fill in the blank, right?
Yeah.
But if you step out of that line, and you go and you make fun of somebody else or a different race or a different ethnicity, you're now deemed bad. And that's unfortunate where we're at. And these rules are being implemented by white people, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I wish that I could join the new Black Panthers so I could deal with these white liberals. I really wish the new Black Panthers would let me join their organization, because I am prejudiced against rich, trendy, guilty white liberals. I am very prejudiced against them. So
Me too.
Yeah, you can say that I'm anti-white, and I'm white. So
But
I have a problem with white people.
But would you black up to join the Black Panthers? That's the real question. Like Justin Trudeau did it, but it was okay to do it because he's a liberal. But if you or you went out in blackface, even to a party, there would be a problem with that, because that's racist.
Well, not only that, Damon Wayans, or the Wayans brothers can dress like white girls.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious.
Oh, I do too.
And you know what? I think anybody can wear blackface. I think it's great. Robert Downey Jr. and Tropic Thunder wore blackface, and it was so funny and well done. I absolutely loved it. and I just gave the middle finger to everybody who was offended by it.
Too
I
right.
thought it was great.
Too right. And to see these, have you heard of Little Britain? They did a series called Little Britain USA in America, and they're these two white comedians, and they do quite a few black characters and blackface, and like a woman that's black and stuff called Bubbles DeVere, who's hilarious. You know, their stuff has been taken off. You know, you can't watch that anymore. And all these comedians are apologizing. But how can we be funny and have an unapologetic response to the world around us if we're having to self-frickin-censor? It's impossible.
It is impossible, and that's why comedy, in a way, is dying. I mean, when's the last funny comedy you've seen? Crickets, right?
Yeah.
Nobody can tell me. Maybe what, Step Brothers or The Hangover? I mean, is there anything even remotely close to that?
No.
Funny?
No.
And comedy is dying because of wokeness, political correctness, and they've destroyed it. They've destroyed comedy because they're trying to force an agenda down people's throats that they don't want to be forced.
No, absolutely. Like a wife on her wedding night. We must leave it there. I'm sure you got that one. Thank you so much for joining us, Stephen. Tell people where they can find you and what you're doing right now, and what they can watch, look at, listen to. That is your uncensored, unapologetic work.
So it's really easy. I mean, I've got this project called How to Be a Miserable Failure, the complete guide to destroying your life. We're launching the book and the podcast very, very soon. And you can go to howtobeamiserablefailure.com to find everything that you need.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Stephen D. Schneider, who is a comedian, an unapologetic comedian, and he will be joining us again very soon. Thank you so much, Stephen, and I wish you a fabulous weekend, sir.
You too, Xander. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, brother. Take care. That was the fabulous Stephen D. Schneider, comedian. I never get to ask him if his name is actually a play on, the singer D. Schneider, which I think would be pretty cool. So go out and follow him there. Apologies if you heard any profanities that you didn't want to hear. Tough shit. I mean, I'm sorry about that, but we're angry right now, and we have the right to do and say these things when we're angry. Not had your fill of the Gibster. You can join me 5 nights a week, Monday to Friday, 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 6 Eastern. 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 1 o'clock in the UK, and 12 midday down under in Australia, I was going to say. On Friday's show, Dr. Kendra Becker joins us. Also, Chet Martin, anchor from Freedom on Debt. Be sure to click the share button before you go. Thank you to everybody in the live feed. Thanks to Chet for calling in. Thanks for all the positivity in the feed. As I said, I will be back with you tomorrow, God willing. And you know what, guys? I really do love you all. Click share, and I will love you forever. Bye-bye.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no rifts. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Zen.